喜べ少年.
That's right. Rejoice, everyone. It is time, once again, for Let's Talk Fate Grand Order, your one-stop shop for all things Fate Grand Order. I am Eye of the Omega, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Old Hag Lucky.
Hello, everybody. Did you miss us? We missed you.
We did. We miss everybody. Today, I will be the rules, he will be the pain. And in case you can't tell, we're going to talk about Okeanos and stuff in detail tonight. So for once, our spoiler warning is directly relevant. So, that's right. If you don't want to be spoiled about the Okeanos story chapter, or anything resembling the story in Fate Grand Order, or resembling the story in anything vaguely Fate-related at all, we might even spoil Tsukihime, who knows? Get out now.
Alright, for everyone who's left, let's get started. So, before we get to Okeanos, let's get through a few things here. First off, where the fuck is wrong?
He, I believe, is currently engaged in the Los Angeles Holy Grail War with his servant assassin, true name, Coco Chanel.
Well, let's wish him the best of luck with that.
Yeah, he's fucked up.
Maybe one day we'll actually get him back here.
I mean, if Matahari is a bronze assassin... Alright, well, we had some urgent business last week, so we kind of skipped this over, but very quickly, let's check in with everybody's favorite Kohai, probably, Mash, and talk about, stuff.
Senpai, 起きてください.
That's right, it's Wake the Fuck Up Senpai, our regular segment for all the hot and latest pro tips you need to get good at Fate Grand Order. We can actually even do a little bit of a twofer, because we missed one last week. So the first one...
Oh, yeah, we did.
I mean, this one's obvious, but seriously, level up and limit break your CEs. This actually affects their stats. They have attack plus and HP plus stats that are not static, and if you do max limit break, MLB, as they say in the biz, that will actually improve their effect. We've mentioned it before, but it's a pretty key point. It's one of the major strats in this game. And it's very good, because you never know when you need, plus 600 attack, or HP, or whatever.
I'd like to say, every little bit counts. I said, right now I've been funneling all my efforts into leveling up my limited zero over, just because at max limit break, it gives whatever character is equipped to 2,000 attack. And that can seriously make a difference for just about any fight.
I think that's almost like a tier, Star-wise, worth of extra attack points. So that's a big deal. Because you never know when you run into a servant who is a little underpowered, despite their rarity. Sorry, I had something French in my throat.
Moving along here, this one has become a little bit more relevant with a recent update, but plan a bit ahead with your ascensions. Not all ascension items are in the game currently, and a lot of characters require those items. So if you are dead set on ascending a certain character, you might find yourself at a temporary dead end while you wait for the game to update. This creates a backlog of characters you want to do stuff with, but you just have to kind of resign, and you just get this giant to-do list.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, yeah, and it's.
We were actually very lucky in that we got the Extella tie-in event, which dropped gears.
Yeah.
Because I was able to get Emiya over one of his ascension humps that way. And guess what? Now I cannot ascend... I think it's Sojiro. I cannot ascend him on one more step up because I need 2 gears and I don't have any.
But if you need information on what items drop where and when you can about expect them, make sure to check out the FGO wikis. There's a couple good ones out there, and they have plenty of information for you. They can really help you set a plan. As I said, I use them, Omega uses them, a lot of players use them. And it's like, don't feel like you're like cheating or whatever, trying to get like the raw experience. Use the wiki; it'll save you so much heartache.
Yeah, and when we say we use them, we like literally right now. This show is supported not just by our own show notes and not just by original research or whatever we want to call it, but seriously, we fact check ourselves on the wiki all the time.
Now, let's move on to the next segment, our next regular segment here, which is literally just me tooting my own horn.
Yeah,
but,
I don't have anything to say today in Records from the Throne. Other than that, I still have Excellence, you don't. Ha! That's all I got. I'm gonna get her interlude soon. But it's hard because I have so many archers. God damn it. The good thing I got was I rolled Urale already. I rolled her already. That's what I got. That's it.
Wait. Actually,
male sabers get fucked.
Yeah. But I have 3 achievements I like to talk about. One of them a lot of people have probably hit if they've been playing continuously is that I hit the 100-day login benchmark. Funny in fact, right on the 100-day celebration. I wonder why.
Yeah.
Who have got their 100-day login gets 20 quartz as their daily bonus, which is kind of crazy. This fact actually made me research into the daily login rewards, and after you hit 100, you get 20 quartz every 50 days. So that's that's a lot of quartz to put in your summon bank there.
That's basically
also,
combined with regular quartz rewards. That's basically a free pull every couple of months, on top of any other sources of quartz.
Mm-hmm. As a side note, something that kind of actually slightly messed me up when I was actually researching this, I actually learned that over in Japan, the daily login gets you exchange tickets, which you can exchange for things like Dragon Fangs, Evil Bones, and other Ascension items. It kind of changes monthly, but still, the fact that you get to basically pick an item that you might desperately need every day, kind of make wonders when we're gonna get that, because I don't know about you, but I got my fill of Proof of Heroes right about now.
Everybody has fucking Proof of Heroes. God damn, they're terrible. And you know what nobody has enough of? God damn, Dragon Fangs. Maybe we'll fix that problem. We'll get to that soon. But, keep going.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna keep going because I did in fact hit my mark of 150 free quartz. As I said, last session, I said this was my goal. I'm getting geared up for the Halloween event. And as I said, I really want my blue caster. I really want Tamino. So I resisted all the raid ups. I resisted the pools. I am ready. I am now considering making my altar. It's I'm doing research into things that Tamino would find attractive. So I'm thinking some sake, maybe some mochi. Thinking of getting a marriage registration form. I think she'd like that. I'm also making a promise. If I do get Tamino, I'm buying her Dakimakura. So I'll just have the big old Tamino body pillow. I'll take pictures of it to prove it.
See, I'm not sure. When I read this in their show notes, I immediately was of two minds. My first thought was, should I promise to buy one for him if he doesn't roll Tamino? Or do I make the deal with the world? If I roll Mordred in the London raid up, I'll get lucky. Dakimakura. Which, by the way, is relevant because Tamino enters the regular story gacha in London chapter, like Mordred.
Yeah, so that's going to be fun in a couple weeks. And finally, everyone knows how much I love my Tamino cat. I finally got her max ascension. I haven't got her fully leveled yet, but she got her special best special Saint Graph art.
Yeah, those last 10 levels
just
are a pain in the
so
ass.
pretty, and I'm so happy.
It's a lovely picture. I see it a lot.
It really is.
When I use her to grind, because Tamino Cat, you limited 0 over.
Mm-hmm.
And she's got a Buster Arts quick deck.
Yes, she does. But that's enough of our records from the throne, so let's move on to our skelograms.
That's right. As always, we have loads of news, and hopefully you're not getting scooped on a news topic right now. But hey, that's the nature of the biz. So, first of all, obviously, we talked about it, The 100-day event happened. It was confirmed first at the AWA panel. Their rewards were all revealed exactly as we discussed already. On 10.3, a few days ago, the new version of the daily quests, the switch to training grounds, became active, which is really good. That's a huge improvement on our drop situation. They added a 40 AP version. Each is specifically tuned to a specific day and is filled with mobs and shadow servants relative to that day. So, for instance, if you know what mobs drop what, you can be much better focused on picking up things. Like, for instance, Dragonfang warriors are usually assassins or sabers, so maybe on Assassin Day or Saber Day, you can roll a couple of quests and beat those guys up. Also, there was a legendary shortage on blue caster gems because Lamias didn't spawn regularly at low difficulties. But now they have to on caster day, so there you go. Now you can level up all those skills on your waivers.
It should be mentioned here that the US version of the training fields is not fully matched Pan's training field. It's unclear at the moment, but we don't have enough data to actually know if they've actually implemented the new enemy types. So we'll have like all the new items. I've seen a couple things that have been hard to get, but nothing concrete. So give us a week or so to fiddle around with it, and we'll let you know.
Yeah, and we talk about wikis, and there's Google Docs and stuff where people are working on collecting literal raw data, actual statistics from the player base on what the drop rates are right now. So that's how they do it in Japan for a while. That's how they're doing it in the US. So give it a little while, at least one full week or more, to start rotating through. We'll actually get some hard data on this, and we can figure it out. There are definitely improvements on what you get. I got monuments way easier, pieces way easier. I got, I ran it through twice, and got a couple of Dragon Fangs, which was pretty good.
Yesterday,
stuff like that.
Running a caster, I was able to get 2 hearts of a foreign god. So, I said, there's definitely something.
Yeah. And some of these, like I said, like Dragon Fangs were spread out over several days. Phoenix Plumes, which I don't think were easy to get before because they only dropped from Amazon Queens. Those are multiple days now. So that's in there at the higher levels. I will warn you, though, everybody. There's a 40 AP now. It's hard as balls.
It is hard as balls.
Like, it's rough. We might briefly discuss a bullet point later about how some interlude levels are high. Level 40 AP on training fields, that's a big deal. Like, and not just a little big deal. Like, we're talking like, over 100k servant bosses in the last round. And not just regular servants, gold servants with god-awful abilities.
Here, let me just paint this picture for you. 200k hit points, Lancelot. That's what I was dealing with. Like, hold on to your pants.
And it could be worse. It could have been a Herc.
Uh-huh.
But we'll talk about how much of a pain in the dick Hercules is, or Heracles is, in a second. Let's wrap out some other stuff from AWA. We got 10 quartz for the AWA tie-in. Of course, that's the typical. There was the localization panel we talked about. In the show notes for this episode, I will put a link to a Reddit topic which summarizes the Q&A at the panel, which was, posted by somebody who was there. It seems like the head of localization for Aniplex, Albert Cow, he's a pretty cool guy. Like, seriously, if you read some of the quotes, he outright says, you'll get some summon tickets, black keys. Because everybody knows you can pull black keys on a summon ticket. Also, sometimes you roll Emmys on a summon ticket, though, so don't count summon tickets out. But yeah, he talked about people who may, by some chance, be watching Fate Apocrypha, like through witchcraft or something. Though I believe since like they did with another show, Little Witch Academia, they released like the first half of the season. The first half of Apocrypha is over now, I think, because it was only 24 episodes. So, logistically, Netflix might be putting that out soon. So, if you do not practice witchcraft, you should catch up on that if it comes out, when it comes out. We also got subtle confirmation that the Learn FGO manga, which is hilarious, the source manga for Gura Gura would be localized by Aniplex. No hard dates, but just they talked that they seem to be working on it. So hopefully any events related to that are safe now. At the very least, they've got the source material to work with. Hopefully no delays.
That's it. Yeah, as I said, there was no hits about when it might happen, but I'm still hoping for a mid to late November as maybe a simultaneous release. I think it'd be great.
I want my Nobus, and I'm saving quartz so I can put Okita and Nobu together.
Let's see here. I said there was a possible animation update with the Heaven Fields premiere in the U.S. I said there's a question mark there. We're not entirely sure.
Yeah, basically at the panel, somebody asked the question, hey, when are we going to get animation updates? And they're like, somebody suggested some of the servants who need them, like Medusa, for instance, she has a sprite and animation update, said some of them are featured in the new movie. Would that be a good day to do it? And good old Mr. Cow said, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. So, we don't know. Hopefully.
Yeah.
They also talked about the possibility of U.S. exclusive banners for the gacha, which we immediately saw, because there's a Part 2 gacha for Okeanos out now that was not in Japan. This particular raid-up, the second raid-up, which includes Medea Lily, or includes Orion, those were not originally released in Japan. So, there's more talk of more U.S. exclusive banners. But also, we talked about the FGO, the stage banner, last time. Rip that in the U.S. unless they decide to port the stage show over somehow. So, they'll have to find something else to do in that place. Also, he was very strong that there will be no censorship intended of the U.S. version. No pants and tickle bitties for everybody, unlike China. Rip.
Yeah, actually, I remember this was specifically because they were talking about Fate Apocrypha. They were mentioning Jack the Ripper's costume.
Which is, if you don't know, that's where the no pants joke comes from. Because Jack, who has a body type that's somewhere between, like, lolly and athletic, like, she's got some powerful legs for being such a short, malnourished murder person. But she doesn't wear pants. And many people just want to give Jack a pair of goddamn pants. That poor girl has to be cold. She's from London. She makes it foggy. It's terrible. But yes, no pants is on for America. And I think that's actually where the joke about watching Apocrypha via Witchcraft came from. Because that's been licensed by Netflix. It will be on Netflix at the US. So, you know. And also there's something you're very excited about, Lucky. You got the news you want.
Heaven's Funding. I mean Heaven's Feel. It's slotted to premiere November 1st in LA with more showings later. No word on an event or tie-in yet, but I think we can at least expect a commemorative craft essence.
Yeah, maybe some quartz or maybe some tickets. I hope for the animation updates because Medusa, who is still my favorite servant, with a capital F. Well, yeah, that's all. We'll see stuff. We'll keep you guys apprised. I made that rhyme, even though I didn't have to. Let's keep the rhyming going and talk about Okeanos in review. So, you're done with the Okeanos story. I'm done with the Okeanos story. It's been like a week, guys. If you have had any free time at all, you should be done with the Okeanos story. Let's talk about it. So, my thoughts, in general, it's a very well-written scenario. I think the characters and the storytelling are very well balanced. I think they're more balanced than Septim, which had a lot of servants who did nothing. Like, people just showed up for a boss fight and then they left, like Altera at the end. It's just like, oh shit, we need to tie Altera in because she's really cool and she's a 5-star saber. And she's gonna be really scary to fight. And she shows up for 5 minutes and you fight her and it's done. Plot elements don't go unresolved. That was also an issue with Septim. Nero's headaches kept coming up like that was going to be a thing, but it wasn't, I guess. Probably. And you feel your usual real attachment to your NPC servants. You get attached to some people, obviously, as you go through. Luckily, several of them are not of super high rarity. You might even already have them in your back pocket. You never know. Also, my thought is that the plot is feels much more like the regular Fate dynamic. You enter the scenario, you think it's a simple thing, then you think it's another, but still simple thing, and then eventually it turns into a much more dynamic scenario with much higher stakes, more challenge. So you still feel important, but you feel like you're the underdog, and you kind of got to figure it out, and you got to work for it, and it's really satisfying when that happens. Would you agree on any of those points, Lucky?
Oh yeah, definitely. As I said, I think the pacing was excellent. As I said, basically starting off, meeting the pirates, joining Francis Drake and her crew, and just, it literally just began like as a little bit of island hopping, a bit of adventure, and slowly just ramped up into something a little bit more fantastical.
All the way to, if the bad guys get the thing, they will destroy the world, quote unquote.
Yeah, it's it really went from like small stakes to the highest stakes.
Mm-hmm. And as usual, you have mixed feelings about your opposition. It's I think the writing and the pacing was really well done. Yeah, it was great. Okeanos, I think, is where things start really getting turned around, and I think people usually say that London is where it hits its best stride. We'll see later. Yeah, obviously.
I've seen some comments like me, I'm a bit of a crier. I get like very emotionally attached, and I just start leaking. And I'm looking at comments about other people's reactions to Okeanos, and everyone's just all like, "Oh, you think you have feels now? Just wait till later. You're gonna have some real feels." I'm like, my heart is not ready for this.
Oh no. Remember, this is still a Fate story, and Nasu is still writing a lot of these story chapters, so it's gonna suck later. Luckily, I don't think they actually... Well, Urobuchi kind of wrote the Fate Zero crossover event, but I think Nasu strong-armed him into having it have a positive ending, so we're not going to get slaughtered by the feels, but it's going to be rough. Speaking of feelings, this is another one of those usual situations. You develop mixed feelings about the opposition. Blackbeard, he's entertaining, but also he's kind of gross.
Yeah, he's kind of gross, but at the same time, you gotta wonder how much of that gross is like actually an act and how much is actually real.
Mm-hmm. And of course,
and who didn't get where he was by acting like a freaking pedophilic, like I don't even know the proper combinations of words to call him.
He's a weird guy.
He's literally the worst parts of 4chan rolled into a pirate.
I think specifically he's actually 4chan's predecessor, 2chan, which is Japanese, but yeah.
Oh, yeah,
that's
yeah.
His speech pattern's modeled after.
Yeah.
The other major villain, Jason, he's your tippy, haughty Fate villain. You really want to see him go down. Though, of course, he too has... Even in the end, there's some tunes of why this guy is a heroic spirit, There's some bite to Jason, besides just him being... a blonde douchebag. And of course, he's backed by much more potent sub-characters. I think, though, that it's sad that he's... as far as antagonists go, out of all 3 chapters we have so far, he's no Jolter. That's for damn sure.
Nope. As a... villains. I'm actually going to speak up of Asterios. He's not really a villain in the chapter, but compared to standard mythology, he was the freaking Minotaur of the Labyrinth.
And you do fight him once.
I'm not gonna lie, I almost cried when he went down with Herc. I mean, holy shit! Freaking literally, this guy literally carried you. Like, he picked up the ship to get it to safety. He caught a rock hurled by Hercules. And when Hercules decides to wreck your shit, literally grabs him, takes a spear through the chest, and then jumps overboard with Hercules just to keep...
Sounds like you broke up a little there.
I can't have nothing but love for this guy. I really can't.
I think you dropped out there for a little bit. I didn't think you heard the end of that. He grabbed Herc to do what now? We kind of lost your conclusion there.
Oh yeah, he grabbed. Remember, he grabbed Herc, was wrestling him, then he got hit in the chest with the spear from Hector.
Yeah,
and went overboard with him, and like stayed clinging on to him, so like Herc would drown with him, losing one of those lives, dying in the process. Ugh.
Yeah,
it feels.
The point though was, I'm pretty sure the original way your sentence was going to end was he did it to save you and your raleigh.
Yeah.
That's the part that dropped off.
Save his lovely waifu. That's what I said.
Two more points to add to that I do want to say is, one, in case you guys didn't know, excuse me, Asterios has Monster Strength A as one of his personal skills, and that's not any spear he took. He took full true name and everything, Hector Spear, Durandina, which is what the famous paladin Roland's sword is based on, as in literally Durandal is just the blade tip of Durandina, not on a spear haft anymore.
Yep, and as a side note, with the completion of Okeanos, some more interludes were opened up, specifically Blackbeards, Tomino Cats, and a few others. But in doing Tomino Cats interlude, you return to the Okeanos setting, you run into Asterios, and after you beat him in a fight, he was like, "Oh, you're kind of rough, but so is Uriel." And then he wanders off, and I'm just like, great. But
Blackbeard's interlude is 10 out of 10 also. Piquette.
I have to... Actually, as soon as I get a chance, I am definitely taking him out for a spin.
Oh, you should. I leveled that motherfucker up right away when I got him, way back when, because I knew it would pay off. But that sort of thing, I think, is a future talking point. Keeping him with Okeanos, talking about villains and Herc, he's back, much like he was in Fuyuki. He's back to fuck your day up, just like he always does. And we must ask the eternal question: will Herc ever not be a huge pain in your dick?
Like, it's one of the things I always found interesting about Herc is that, as per the canon, he can be any class except, what was it, caster?
Yeah, because he has no magecraft.
I think
training.
it was. Huh?
Yeah, because he has no magecraft training.
Yeah, so that means he could be a saber, archer, lancer, rider, assassin. It's, he has the full gambit, and yet we have yet to see him be anything else. And it's actually really honest to see him as other classes, like archer. I can see archer easily. The bow he used poisoned with poison with the Hydra.
Yeah.
Shoot, I think that's what killed. He killed, that's how he did some of his 12 labors, and how he accidentally killed Chiron. Was it Chiron?
Something like that.
I believe it was good.
The arrows were also very important later in the Trojan War.
Yeah, so, as I said, as a rider, him, one of the 12 labors was him leading a giant herd of, what was it, bulls?
Something like that.
Yeah, it's easy to see, a couple of other, Herculean legends brought to light. So I find it really strange that we've just had him as a berserker. But on the flip side, I'm so used to seeing Herc as a berserker, I find it hard to picture him as anything else. I mean, take that kind of build and try to put it as give him a bow. It's like, whoa.
Or see him as an assassin. Kind of scary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be weird, but who knows? Hopefully we'll see. Jason's a shit. He's He's a pain in the ass who does nothing. I don't even know what his class is. Would he be writer because of the Argo? I guess he must. He has the charisma for it.
Yeah.
It's very telling. Despite being in the 3rd story chapter in the first year, Jason has never appeared as a servant of any class. Of any class, not even as an antagonist.
This is a full shit.
Yeah, he's an asshole.
As I said, yeah.
But it's not entirely his fault he's an asshole. You know, his uncle may have killed his dad and stolen his kingdom or something and kind of set him off on a rough path in life.
Yeah, like a lot of... Honestly, that's actually kind of how a lot of Greek heroes do.
Yeah.
It's like, shit goes bad
in
the beginning. Now I must go on a great quest and gather all these awesome allies and get wrecked by the gods in the end.
Yeah, because everybody's eyes get too big for their head. Oh, gee, I'm gonna marry a beautiful princess for political reasons. Never mind my crazy witch girlfriend who I married and had several kids with. She's definitely not gonna, do anything terrible to me. Never mind that she, summons a flaming chariot and kill a giant with her eye beams. Remind me again why regular Medea is only a 3-star? She also needs an animation update.
Yeah,
especially after seeing.
Speaking of that, as I said,
Lily.
If you've been honest, you know that the final antagonist was Medea Lily, who was basically the Medea before Jason's betrayal, and she is pretty goddamn pure.
She's adorable.
She really is. Regular Medea has Rule Breaker, which fucks people shit up. Well, Medea Lily has Pain Breaker, which heals you.
Pain Breaker is basically reverse Rule Breaker. It's a team heal and debuff cleanse.
And she looks so goddamn cute doing it.
Whereas Rule Breaker is a single target, high damage NP that charges itself and clears buffs. Which, trust me, we'll come into this in a second, but having had to use regular Medea a decent bit in the scenario, the Rule Breaker spam is real. Rapid Words of the Divine, I've got that at a very high level, and just, go for it. You also mentioned that you thought the final plan to stop Herc was kind of crazy. Where they Indiana Jones him.
Let's see.
I had a great time with that because I finished him off with Liz and at full-blown NP Bathory Iserbet, which is kind of funny if you think about it. Because the scenario is, you're in a tunnel or something, you're trying to push him into the arc, so just throw Liz up there. Everybody plug ears. Liz, give him the pipes.
Yeah, the plan to stop Herc was kind of crazy and terrifying to think about.
Yeah, because you're fucking carrying Urale. You, the master. I imagine riding piggyback or something. Something dumb. Not like dignified like a bridal carry, but something stupid.
As I said, I really hope we get an anime out of this. I think it'd be great to see.
Yeah, hope we get more. So I talked about it a little bit.
All right.
How the scenario here is, from a mechanical standpoint, is deliberately unbalanced. For friendly allied servants, you have an excess of archers. You have so many archers, it's not even funny. Because you've got Orion, Atalante, Urale, David. You're crawling with them archers. But the common enemy servants are riders, berserkers, and then... a caster and a lancer, being Medea Lily and good old Hector. So, it's a rough world out there. There's a large amount of saber mobs to help, probably, because you have all those archers. But the game sprinkles in archer and lancers with those guys to keep you flexible, so you can't just, here's a shitload of sabers, let me just slot in whichever one of these allies is the highest level and go from there. And I noticed this in particular due to lots and lots of mobs, which are riders, because there's dragons return, the wyverns come back again to bother you. and there's multiple major rider bosses, so the pressure is on if you have not rolled a potent assassin, and you might have a bit of a rough time. I personally, because my highest level and best assassin is the Regend, he's kind of run out of steam as a 1-star servant. He's on his 3 out of 4 stars ascension-wise, but still, there's only so much the man can do. Which I'm guessing you didn't have that problem at all, Mr. Level 50 Carmilla.
Hey, she's growing on me, man.
Yeah,
when I first got her, I was like, oh,
it's good.
Oh, God.
She's actually a decent assassin, I know, because I've been using friendless Carmillas a lot.
Yeah.
She's pretty good at her job.
That's it.
Because her NP is single target buster, heals herself, and buffs herself. But just to keep you on your toes, there are multiple missions which just have huge waves of what I think are the nastiest assassin mobs. The ghosts with their freaking, NP downs and stuns and stuff. I hoped you leveled a caster. And fun fact, I don't think this was a problem in JP, because technically Okeanos didn't happen until early November, which was right after the Halloween event with a free gold caster, that is, Halloween Liz. So everybody in JP had who was actually playing, about the time Okeanos came out, who didn't start just then anyway, they all had a free 4-star gold caster who, kit-wise, looks pretty good. So, that's the thing. So, on the subject of the scenario, my MVP servants, of course, were Jean, because tanking. Emiya, got a lot of use. Medea, I mentioned earlier. Kiyohime, got a lot of action in, is one of my major berserkers. Because I was working on leveling Lancelot. And like I mentioned, Liz got a lot of action against many enemy archers. And out of the guests, I used Orion and Drake the most, because they're 5 stars. Duh.
Yeah, I'll follow that up with my all-star team. I said leading the pack was Tamino Cat, followed by Jean. And I pretty much exclusively used Francis Drake the entire time. I just, I was kind of obstinate in that. But in my back, I had Waver, Carmilla, and of course, my favorite Kohai, Mash.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to joke. There was legit, at least 3 times it was down to John and Mash tanking the enemy down.
Hey,
it
so
was close a couple
you want
times.
to know how my final battle ended?
How?
Command seal wipe, and I still ended up on the last threads with Liz, burning her battle continuation to guts to 100 HP or whatever, and Mash, and that was it. That's how I finished. That's how I got the last scrapes on the demon pillar. Shit's rough. That fight is a pain in the ass. You really need solid riders of your own, and I was not prepared in that way. I brought Medusa, I think, because obviously Medea Lily was in it, but I was kind of hoping that Drake as my guest would help shore that up, and it kind of worked. But the fact that you have to pick between fighting Medea Lily, who has group heal skills, which she can use whenever, and she has a group heal debuff clear NP, and also she has 100 HP, and then the Demon Pillar, who is doing damage to every single one of your team members every round, possibly multiple times a round if it feels like it. It's kind of rough. It's a rough fight.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to try and remember the fact that Demon Pillars are weak to cavalry, strong against knights next time. And by then, hopefully, I have Max Ascension Medusa, so get fucked. And if you're lucky, you'll have rolled Tamamo, you'll have a 5-star caster with an arts build.
Yeah. Listen, I'm doing alright.
Yeah. Yeah, looking at it, I think that's all our major points about Okeanos, We had good thoughts.
For London.
Yeah, we had good things. You can see the preview slot now, coming soon, Mist-Covered City, London.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and as with the other singularities afterwards, MASH gets a little something. This time wasn't as noticeable as the other one. She didn't get her NP up or an ascension or anything. And all that happened is that her bond level went from 2 to 2.5. So hopefully once we clear the London chapter, we'll get a little bit more of Mash's story.
Yeah. And also, like always, you get a free servant. We talked about it before. It's David. He's kind of a... She shows up at the very end, but he's kind of a fun character. He's alright. As soon as I'm done leveling Urale, I'm sure I'll get to him in my backlog.
Eventually.
Eventually. I mean, his NP seems pretty good. So that's Okeanos. We're about halfway through our time at 35 minutes on the mission clock. Let's insert some JP news really quick. Japan got some new interludes, some new quests to toughen up your servants, get some quartz, which include Noble Phantasm Up interludes for Bedivere, Tristan, and Nightingale. So that should help those guys out. Mm-hmm. And for those of you who don't know, like if you don't have certain servants, you wouldn't even notice. Sometimes interludes take the form not of giving you quartz, but of giving you an increased NP. You can usually tell by the circle with the Excalibur through it. The universal.
I think of it as a gold coin.
Yeah.
That's what I think of it as.
Yeah, it's a gold coin or a medal or something, but it's got Excalibur on it, which is the game's universal Noble Phantasm buff symbol.
Yeah, right off the top of my head, I know that we get one for Emiya, and
Emiya has his
one
in already.
For Asterios, actually.
Mm-hmm. Asterios just added one, I think.
Yeah.
Atalante also has one. It's in Okeanos, so that was just added. That'll be interesting to see, because her NP is already pretty okay. But anyway. And basically, after you do the interlude, which is usually really tough, Emiya's was versus Shadow Herc. With like 300k
oh my goodness, HP. Some of these interludes have such crazy level. Like level 70 interludes. Like
yeah, I did Lancelot's second interlude recently. It's rough. It's waves of Shadow Servants in the first half, and then the second half is just a solo round against Shadow Gilgamesh with it's bad. It's real bad. He's also got like 300k HP, and that was just for quartz. That wasn't even for an NP up. But anyway, to go back to the NP up point, after you complete the interlude, you'll see it rank up on their Noble Phantasm. Like, Unlimited Bladeworks goes from rank E to A to rank E to A++. And it does, yeah, because he can't mimic EX ranks Noble Phantasms because they're unique and miracles and some shit. I don't know. Unlimited Bladeworks has rules that are not necessarily completely explained, but they exist, so he only goes up to A++. But it makes them slightly better. It might boost their special effects a little, it might boost their base damage, but in general it helps them out. So that's always good to see, and of course interludes really let you get up in the guts of the servants and find out some of their backstories. I've seen some translations for Tristan's which have just come out. You know, we're going to talk about waifus, I think, in a second, but if you want to talk about spirit animals, I think you, Mr. Feels Train, are going to feel a lot of camaraderie with Tristan. That and his eyes are closed all the time, so you can never tell if he's awake or asleep. So, let's move on then to the back half of our show and get into good old Chaldea Free Talk.
Chaldea Free Talk Radio.
Once again, we are the only radio station left in all of human history. So if you don't want to listen to us, good luck.
Alright, here's a topic that we've been wanting to get into a while. It's been in our show notes forever, but we just never had enough time to really talk about it.
Yeah, I think the concept for this topic originated when we first decided we were going to talk about the Halloween event, and I pointed out certain things about your character in relation to who was in the raid up, and that got us started on this path.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about the subject of comparative waifuology, also known as the study of waifu phenomena.
That's going to be our second t-shirt after Dragon Mom Effect. Please, if you would buy a comparative waifuology t-shirt, please let us know in the comments.
Was that put in the merch corner? Or is it? Should be put in the merch corner.
Yeah, we'll put that down there. That's our future merch number 2.
All right,
T-shirts,
but,
mouse pads, coffee mugs.
I would do that. I get it. But to start things off, what is a wife? I said that's a term that everyone throws around real easily. Like, that's my waifu. But like, no one's really ever has that moment of like, what's what.
So, fun fact: if you Google waifu, number 1 is Urban Dictionary. Number 2 is Wiktionary, the legit wiki dictionary. Where Wiktionary defines waifu, plural is waifu or waifus, as fandom slang, a fictional female character from a non-live-action visual media, typically an anime, manga, or video game, to whom one is attracted, and, in some cases, whom one considers to be a significant other.
Yeah, I'm not that far, because I definitely have more than one waifu. I can't have them all. Pretty sure I'd be castrated at some point.
Well, it gives castration fist. Says what? But also, people talk about how the guy who has more than one waifu has no lifu. But hey, anyway, it's... it takes a while to build up to finding your one and only. But, listen, the short version is, waifu or waifuism is a term we throw around a lot. And generally we mean it's a character you find usually attractive in some way, you like them. If they were a real person, you'd be interested in them romantically, maybe. Lots of other stuff, It could just mean a cute girl character who you like the best. The male version is usually husbando, though that's not
honestly. I'd like using the term
say that males can't be waifus too.
Yeah, no, I'm about to say it's like I feel more comfortable calling the males waifus too. I think it's just more funny and entertaining that way.
It reminds me of I don't know why, but there is a spate of great, jokey meme comics about Astolfo Lili. Probably because of his prominence in Apocrypha recently. There was a great one I saw on Reddit, which was, there's it's like a medieval gatehouse thing. There's a guy working the lever to open the gate. It says, "There's a 4-star servant approaching. Open the gates. Wait, it's a male servant. Close the gates. Wait, it's Astolfo. Open the gate a little." And I think Astolfo might have actually won some best waifu polls. So who knows?
Actually, I think Astolfo did win in an official. Well, didn't win, but definitely placed up there in an official best female character ranking somewhere. I can't remember where it was. I have to look at that.
Whatever. You like Astolfo, that's fine. Everybody knows I'm all about the Mordred. Mordred is love, Mordred is life.
And I said, but we got to talking about our likes, and if you were to use the good old D&D axis, not D&D axis, the good old
well, it is the D&D alignment axis, and that is also the system that Nasu has chosen, because apparently he's a D&D nerd also. So that is the system fate gives us. If you're not familiar, the axis is good versus evil and law versus chaos. So chaotic is one arm, and then lawful is one arm. And in the center of both of those, there's neutral, which means you can be neutral.
Yep. And Omega, we were talking about servants we liked, and Omega said, that I like my women evil. And we actually got into a discussion about that. And it turns out that Omega prefers them to be good or chaotic.
Yeah, so if you chart these out, which we'll do in a second, but there's a clear point of axis for each of us on which these zones lie. So I compared some of my preferences. Nero and Medusa are both chaotic good. Various non-alter versions of Arturia and Jean, and also Ishtar the servant, are lawful good. Mordred is chaotic neutral, naturally. Well, I don't really think Liz is my waifu, because she's only 14, guys. Come on. She is adorable, and I would hug her, and I would probably get stabbed because she's covered in spikes and scales and stuff. But Liz is chaotic evil. Compare that to some of, Lucky's top tiers. Atalanta, Medea, and Tambo are all three neutral evil. And then, we meet in the middle with Gorgon and Jolter, who are both chaotic evil. Shocking.
Yeah, but we also got like Tomino Cat and Altera, also some of my picks, both chaotic good. And so
listen, Gilgamesh has been listed as lawful good, I believe, or is he chaotic good? He might be chaotic good since the original FSN. So, sometimes this stuff's weird.
Yeah. But as I said, like I am definitely leaning towards more neutral or evil characters, I think. I don't know if I actually got enough data for this. I actually want to sit down one day and actually put down the XY axis and start putting dots into what servants are where.
Yeah, that'd be a fun
definitely
graph.
Interesting. That would be a fun graph. Because as I said, like another servant that's adds to fire is Carmilla. I think she's chaotic evil.
Probably.
I'm not entirely
This
sure.
is chaotic evil, so I'm sure Carmilla is also.
Yeah, but I also love Jean and Lance Arturia, both who are lawful good. Then we add Fran to the mix, who's chaotic neutral, and it's just like, where's my graph lie? Honestly, I think it might also just be as much to do as with their backstory as is with them. So I like my girls with a little bit of tragedy. So you can definitely see that in Atalanta, Medea, Tamino, like Betrayal All Abound, like this version of Frankenstein, John. Altera's just cute. I mean, that's the simplest reason for there.
Go listen to our Extella Let's Talk. But boy, howdy, there's some gut wrenching and some heartstrings to Altera's story in Extella. So yeah, it's kind of making.
So I guess it is
tragedy.
still, yeah, kind of is. And then, for a lot of them, it's literally the dragon mom effect, which we've mentioned before. The more dragon, the more mom, the more we want. Mm-hmm. Quite simple as that.
Good old Saber Altered Lanta, aka Chichue. Despite being an alter, she's still lawful good, so everything's fine there.
Yeah. Let's see here.
Maybe it's that the evil women are attracted to you. Well, you haven't rolled Atalanta. I rolled Atalanta, so that doesn't necessarily prove anything either.
Well, as I said, I got 5.
You did roll Saber Alter.
Yeah, I got two. I got her twice.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely got that.
That's okay. I've gotten my revenge, folks. I have doomed Lucky to gotcha hell for Brynhildr, a tragic heroine who is also the younger sister to King Attila. Nudge for good. So he's super boned because now he has to deal with the fact that Brit is in 2 gotchas and then a paid gotcha.
Honestly, if I can get her cheerleading CE, I think I'd be happy. That was fantastic. Gave me plenty of side hip and boob. It was good.
It's a great look. I have also seen a alternate art of Ushiwakamaru in that outfit. Alright, so that was our big Chill Day of Free Talk section. We're coming up kind of on our close, but we could briefly talk about some things, I think, if we're brief. Maybe that means we should just do one spotlight.
Alright, well, let's do our servant spotlight, because I feel like talking about the OG Saber. Probably the most iconic, recognized character in the Fate franchise, maybe even the Nonsoverse. She is servant number 2, with Mash being number 1. We're talking about the one, the only, Saber of Blue, Arturia.
And if you don't wonder why we don't use the quote-unquote official localization name, go back to the very beginning. Go back to Let's Talk FGO number 1. And if you still want to deal with us after that, come back and start this one again.
As I said, like officially, both the names are canon, so use them how you wish.
Yeah.
But
we're not entirely sure. It's a don't blame Aniplex. It's a directive from Type Moon directly to use the Arturia spelling, despite the fact that they actually say that her name is supposed to be the feminization of Arturius in Latin, which would be Arturia. Trust me, I took 2 semesters of Latin at the high school level. I would know.
But just to keep things consistent, we're just going to use Arturia.
Mm-hmm.
So Arturia Pendragon, aka the King of Knights, is quite unsurprisingly a 5-star servant of Saber. So super rare, super strong, super hard to get.
Well, maybe super hard to get. She has a shitload of rate ups.
That's true.
The 10 million downloads was a rate up for her, the Lancer version of her, and Merlin.
Yeah. As I said, as a 5-star, her stats when they get maxed are huge.
Mm-hmm.
It's like her attack is over 12,000. I think the exact number is 12,283.
Which is
with
great.
Higher hit points of 16,597.
Which I think is about on par with the amount of HP I have on Jean right now. Who's like 4 or 5 levels away from her level cap. So, Arturia's pretty good. Her skill kit is great. Her active skills... Okay, Intuition sucks butts. It's a skill that's stuck on basically every Saber. It's not good. Hopefully, DW will fix that. I think it was specifically Mysterious Heroine X got a new version of Intuition that gives crit stars and also gives her, I think, evade for like 1 turn and some other stuff. So hopefully they'll turn that around and that'll apply that to all Sabers in the future, because just gain like 10-ish crit stars, it's not a great ability. You're much better off if you really need crit stars just getting a frickin' assassin or a rider or something. Though she does have a decent rank in writing. But the clincher here is she gets a very high rank of Charisma, which is an attack buff to your entire team. It's a great skill. And she also gets Mana Burst, which is Buster Up for 1 turn. Gee, Lucky, tell me, what card type is Excalibur, her noble phantasm?
Could it be Buster?
So you sense the strategy. Yes, the pro tip, if you have an Arturia and you haven't figured this out already, when you're ready to use Excalibur, hit Charisma, hit Mana Burst, then do it. If you can work it, you can do a Buster Chain. Does she have 2 Buster cards? Can she do a Buster Brave Chain? Yeah, so the ultimate way is to Buster Brave Chain with Excalibur, Mana Burst, Charisma. As you can see, she's got a very good kit. I think people say there are concerns about her, like, longevity with, like, power creep and stuff. Like, there's a lot of memes about her being tier listed very low as far as 5 stars are concerned. I know she's not the worst, because, unfortunately, Scheherazade exists. As beautiful as the, also known as Caster Thick is, she is a caster she suffers from the Sumanai problem. She's specialized in killing enemies with a very specific trait, but she's a caster with an abysmal attack stat. So,
speaking of traits here, let me list off some of Arturia's traits here, because I find them hilarious, honestly. So, Arturia's in-game traits are Arturia, like herself.
That actually
Dragon,
matters because there are multiple versions of her. And Mordred's NP does bonus damage to people with the Arturia trait.
Yeah. Dragon, humanoid, riding. This is the one I found hilarious. Saberface. Like, the original Saberface, designed by Takuchi Takashi. That's her trait. What was it you were saying earlier about characters with the Saberface? Who was it? Mysterious Heroine X gets...
Yeah, Mysterious Heroine X's NP does bonus damage to Saberfaces. Also, I believe AIs for certain enemies will target Saberfaces. Gilda Rays, for instance, will target Saberfaces, and Berserker Lancelot will target Saberfaces because they're caught up on stuff. That also means that they might target a Jean who also has the Saberface trait, or other characters. I don't know, I think Mordred has Saberface. It would make sense, considering their relation.
They might.
But yeah.
She also has Servant, of course. She has weak to Emna Elish, like just about everybody. I have not seen a servant who is not weak to Emna Elish.
They're very rare. I think they're star attribute servants.
Yeah. And King, which is important.
By the way, that's the trait that Scheherazade targets. It's King.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She's good against King-type servants. Kind of. Theoretically. Hopefully they'll buff her like they ironed out some kinks with Siegfried, so he's actually kind of good at what he does for a 4-star saber in Japan. But anyway, we'll save that for the inevitable Sumanai servant spotlight. So yeah, Arturia is a major flagship character. She's one of the ones they talk about. She's in all the splash images. Depending on what image I decide to put in the background of this video, she's probably featured pretty prominently in it. She's the original Saberface. She is the original heroine of Fate Stay Night. You literally have to play her route first. She appears in some form, I think, in basically every major Fate media. Yeah, I think the first thing she's not going to appear directly in is going to be the extra anime.
Yeah, but
because
we got Nero
spoilers,
for that.
Mordred has some flashbacks to her time at the Round Table in Apocrypha, and she is she is the central servant character in Fate Zero and the original Fate Stay Night anime, and fairly prominent in Unlimited Blade Works. She gets as much screen time and development, I think, as Archer.
I said, honestly, the best Arturia development was definitely in Fate Stay Zero, when you see her ideals being clashed with the other kings.
Yeah, if you ever want to know what Saber's deal is, and perhaps why she is the way she is normally, watch Fate Zero.
Yeah.
And then be like, I need to give that girl king a hug.
Yeah. As I said, I love Unlimited Blade Works. It's like my favorite, but the King's Banquet scene in Zero is really up there. So if you want to see some good development, go watch Fate Stay Zero. Fate Zero, excuse me.
Yeah, just Fate
I
Zero.
don't know why I said that.
And there will be a tie-in event in FGO sometime.
Actually, if I remember correctly, it's actually a pretty prominent. I know they actually had a trailer for it. So it must
it's
actually
it's an
substantial.
event. It's not really a story chapter, technically, but it's a big deal. Like, it got a full story write-up and everything. So when it comes out, it'll be a big deal. It'll include, multiple bonus servants. Some of whom are permanent, some of whom are limited.
Yeah. All right. So what are we looking at time here?
We're over an hour in the recording.
All right.
Past
Well,
our
let's
usual mark
wrap
in the
this
initial
up.
talk. So yeah, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Results of last time's master feedback. People who even cared enough to answer said that they basically don't care about the images, so we will continue to just use static background type images for the foreseeable future. And, we'll rely on the engagement to come from our soothing dulcet tones.
Yeah, but we got a couple more questions here. First off, I know everyone's eager to share this, but who is your waifu? Let us know in the comments below.
And here's something we might actually turn into a topic later. We talked about it earlier. Who's in your backlog? What are those servants you have that you think are cool, that you want to level up, but you haven't yet? Let us know, and if we get enough results on it, we might talk about it a little as a full show topic. I will tell you right now, I have only just got around to starting to level Ushiwakamaru. Because she has a good kit. And also I may have seen screen caps of her interlude, which is out now, and it's adorable, so...
Oh, what? Oh, great. More to my list. Let's see. Right now I've been working on a bonds, make sure I get all my my gold-rated sabers up to 5-star bonds so I can get their interludes going. But I've also put Blackbeard, Asterios, and now Washimaku.
Can you believe this guy? My gold sabers, plural. I'm gonna get you someday, you son of a bitch.
and putting
I'm gonna throw a ticket at Halloween. I'm gonna get Tamino Caster, and you're gonna buy me a Dakimakura.
Oh my god. But yeah, I got my backlog building up here too.
Oh, and I mentioned
right now,
it before,
I'm gonna give you a little bit of inspection of what to come next week. As I said, now that we're gonna be hitting mid-October here soon, we're gonna start get you started on your pregame for the Halloween event. So expect an explanation of the system, loot, baddies, and everything in between.
That's right. Everybody get ready to sing. And everybody get your hopes up. You get a free gold caster. First time we're getting a real welfare servant. Free gold casters for everybody. So that about wraps our show up. If you've been with us for a while, you know this spiel. But, you know, it really helps. Maybe we got some new people. You never know. Subscribers go up all the time. If you like this video, obviously, give it a like. We've asked for several master feedbacks in the comments, but if you have anything else you want to throw at us, any other comments in any of our stories, other topics you want us to cover, we've had very good interaction with a steady community so far. Quite a few of whom are on my FGO friends list now. So go ahead and leave those comments. If you haven't already and you want to see more, obviously, please subscribe. And follow links in the end card, which should be appearing whenever the video is actually coming to an end. To more videos in this playlist, other stuff we've done related to Let's Talk or Fake Grand Order or whatever. I have a slight correction to close us out on from last time. I said that we were at just under 2,000 views. I was looking at the wrong analytic. That was in the last 28 days. Lifetime channel views are just under 8,000, so actually we're a lot closer to that 10,000 mark than I thought. That's actually a really big deal, because that's when we can get reviewed as a YouTube partner, approved for full-blown ads and monetization again. But that also means we unlock in-card ads to stuff like, say, if we wanted to do merchandising or a Patreon or something, we could actually put those links directly in the video embedded, so even if you're on mobile or something, you could see them and click them. So, for instance, if you would buy a Comparative waifuology t-shirt or mug, we could, if we get to that 10,000 views and we get approved for partnership, which I don't see why we wouldn't. I know many other YouTube channels which I think are much less advertiser friendly. You know, we might be able to integrate that right in there. So thanks for your time as always, everyone.
All right, everyone, have a good night, and remember...
Wait, hold on. I had an exit for this. Where's that button?
What was that?
Let's see. I'm looking for someone in very particular I think who's relevant. There we go. Alright, everybody. Remember, be you, and you'll be...
Okay!